Hello, everyone. This is Andrew, and I wanted to do a quick rundown and review of Komi Can't Communicate. Now, this was a big manga about 2 years ago. It was actually in a sampler manga at conventions and stuff like that. So it was definitely pretty big, or at least getting a really good promotion at the time. And I just wanted to give my opinion on it. It's still ongoing, but I still want to give a general gist of how I feel about it and how I kind of, interacted with the manga so far. First, it was made by Tomohiro Oda, and the story is about a young woman in high school named Shoko Komi, who is really popular, who's kind of one of those stone cold beauties where it's like, her face is just completely cold. It just looks like she's not in a bad mood, but unapproachable in a way. And it turns out that she's just a really shy, and that's just how her resting, nervous face is, I guess. And she essentially has no friends until one person finally tries to talk to her and crack her open, therefore revealing that she has a social disorder to the point where she wants to break out of her shell, and the main goal is for her to have 100 friends. Now, I'm going to focus on only 3 characters. I would say these are the 3 main characters. If anything, these are what's focused on right now, currently in the manga that's still going on. So we have Komi, obviously, who I already went over. She's a little bit more, I could say, is that she's really caring when you get down to it. She's obviously shy, but she really wants to talk to everyone. She's a bit more honest than most people, and she doesn't understand, to an extent, social cues or anything like that, which is fairly obvious for someone who doesn't have friends or doesn't know really social customs to an extent. The next is Hiro Tadano, who is in the world deemed effectively average. Like, he's just, overall in the series, you'll see that a lot of the hints in the universe within the manga just deem him completely average, which is fine. I'll say he has a bit more of a personality. He's really kind, but overthinks stuff a lot of the time to an extent. He's really good at kind of talking to someone who has trouble expressing themselves. Like Komi, there's a couple of other characters that are like that who just have trouble speaking or have a weird tone of how they say things. He's really non-judgmental to, I would say almost to a fault. Which is, it's good to see, characters that have that kind of fault line, at least, have something that's flawed in them to an extent like that. He's definitely one of those characters that kind of either overthink things, or sometimes it's just, that same old oblivious kind of thing, which does get annoying sometimes. The next one is Rumiko Mabagi, who's turned into, not turned into, but she was very into makeup when you first saw her, very into fashion. She gets separated from her actual friends because she gets moved to a different class. So in the manga, she's kind of at the beginning where Komi is, where she doesn't talk to anyone. And after a while, she finally breaks out of her shell. They become, Komi becomes friends. It turns into basically a love triangle to an extent, not like a competitive one. It's actually more wholesome, equal grounded, not, conflicting in that kind of way. So it gets really fun with that, because, you kind of get tired of the whole competitive love triangle. And it's kind of refreshing to see 2 people that are kind of just cool with each other, they don't want bad blood between each other. It's kind of nice and refreshing to kind of see that. I will say, as things tend to get overhyped with this, at least a couple of years ago it got really overhyped. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's awful or it's, not good to read. It's good to read. It's fun to read. The only things I could say about it that are kind of one is the art style. A lot of the art style is kind of just plain and simple. but when it counts, when they needed to count for a love scene or just when Komi is expressing herself, that's where it counts. They actually hit it where it counts, at least. But overall, it is kind of simplistic art style, which is good and bad to an extent. Again, there is the case of the main character kind of either being oblivious, and then sometimes he just overthinks things, which is kind of annoying. Some characters are a little bit harder to read than others, to the extent of like, I don't know how they feel in this situation. As far as character growth, the only character growth you get is with the main characters. There's some minor arcs for the side characters that get some character development in, but not as much as I would like. I love, manga as a medium because it gives you a chance to work on just the side characters in the world around the main characters. That's what I love to see. And this one kind of does it, but not fully to the way I'd want it to be. But I would recommend this to people that like slower pace, because this is really slow paced. Slower paced plot, definitely more of a wholesome, cute, manga, because it is really wholesome. It's about, I would say, 99% wholesome, 1% lewd. At best. It really is adorable when it wants to be adorable. So I'd recommend that to people that, want a slower paced kind of plot. So that's my review on it, my take on it. And I hope your day is as awesome as you are, and I'll see you in the next video.